Today, we are going to unlock the actual science behind getting faster. We're going to break down the four big principles that the world's most elite athletes use, and more importantly, show you how you can apply them. So let's dive right in. Okay, let me ask you a question. Could a professional bodybuilder outrun a world champion sprinter? I know, it sounds kind of ridiculous, right? I mean, a bodybuilder's physique is all about massive size, not exactly track and field speed. But what if I told you this isn't just a thought experiment? This showdown actually went down. And the result? Well, it reveals the first real secret to elite speed. So rewind to 2002. You've got this Hall of Fame bodybuilder, Kevin Levrone, who was so confident in his raw, brute strength that he challenged the fastest man on the planet. Now, the top sprinter wasn't interested, but another world-class runner, Dwayne Chambers, said, "I'm in." So for 60 meters, it was power versus pure technique. And honestly, for just a split second, the impossible almost happened. Levrone just exploded out of the blocks. But then he stumbled, and the race ended pretty much exactly how you'd think it would. And that right there is the first huge takeaway. Look, Levrone had an almost unlimited supply of raw strength, but it wasn't sprint-specific strength. See, being the fastest person isn't just about being the strongest. It's about being brutally, incredibly effective at transferring every ounce of that strength into pure forward motion. That whole idea of transferring strength, that's the perfect way to get into the four scientific keys of elite speed. So let's break down the principles that really separate the fast from the truly untouchable. So key number one, the direction of the force you apply. It sounds super simple, right? You want to go forward, so you push forward. You don't want to be bouncing up and down. But elite sprinters are absolute masters of this. They push off the ground and direct pretty much all of their energy horizontally, almost like a rocket taking off. It just goes to show that how you apply force can be way more important than how much force you apply. And if you want to see a perfect example of this, just look at Asafa Powell. A lot of people argue he has one of the most powerful starts in the history of sprinting, and a huge part of that is his insane efficiency at applying those horizontal forces during that critical first phase of the race. Of course, once you've got the direction down, sheer power really does matter. So the second key is all about generating incredibly high peak forces. We're talking about applying a massive, massive amount of force relative to your body weight with every single stride. It's this explosive, almost violent contact with the ground. And to put this into perspective for you, Usain Bolt at his peak could apply a vertical force of up to 5 times his own body weight with every single step. That unbelievable power is exactly what launched him to a top speed of almost 28 miles per hour. Just think about that. And this peak force wasn't just for setting world records, it was literally a race-winning weapon. At the 2015 World Championships, Bolt had a terrible start. He stumbled badly coming out of the blocks. But because his top-end speed was so ridiculously high, fueled by these peak forces, he managed to recover and still win. Honestly, it shouldn't have even been possible. Now, our third key it's a bit of a mind bender. It's something called the deceleration illusion. You know when you're watching the end of a 100-meter dash and it looks like the winner is just pulling away, finding some secret extra gear and accelerating past everybody? Yeah, that's not actually what's happening at all. The reality is every single sprinter in that race is slowing down in the final 20 or 30 meters. The winner isn't speeding up, they're just slowing down less than everyone else. Their incredible ability to maintain their top speed is what creates that illusion that they're accelerating. The legend, Carl Lewis, was the absolute master of this. It was his signature move. It always looked like he was defying the laws of sprinting by just holding his speed for longer, decelerating at a much slower rate, and just gliding past everyone at the finish line. And that brings us to our final key, which really ties everything together. It's the conversion of strength into speed. This is the ultimate measure of efficiency. It's all about how well an athlete can translate all that power, the peak forces, the horizontal push, into actual, real forward speed. Okay, so we've got these four keys. But how do you know which one is your personal weakness or your strength? Well, that is where a scientific tool called the Force Velocity Profile, or FVP for short, comes into play. And it's designed to give you those exact answers. And listen, this FBB thing isn't just for Olympic sprinters. If you're an athlete in any speed-based sport, we're talking football, baseball, rugby, you name it, this is an absolute game changer. It's a scientifically proven tool for diagnosing your precise weaknesses, which means you can tailor your training to get the biggest results. And you know what the best part is? You can actually create one for yourself.
And it's a surprisingly simple process that you can do with basically just your phone and a few cones or markers. So here's how it works. It's pretty simple. You use an app, something like MySprint, and it tells you exactly where to place your markers. Then you just set up your phone on a tripod to record yourself, and you do a few all-out sprints. The last step is the cool part. You go into the app, watch the video, and just tap the screen the exact moment you pass each marker. From there, the app does all the complicated physics for you and spits out your personal speed profile.
Okay, so you've done the sprints, you have this profile with a bunch of numbers and graphs on it. What does it actually tell you? This is where it all comes full circle, because this data maps directly back to those 4 scientific keys we just talked about. Think of this profile as a translator. It takes your sprint and turns it into data. It'll show you your max force output, which tells you all about key number 2, your ability to apply high peak forces. It calculates your max velocity, which shows how good you are at converting strength to speed. That's key number 4. It even gives you these ratios that tell you how well you're applying force horizontally. That's key number 1. And how quickly your speed drops off, which is our deceleration key, number 3. So the whole point of this is that once you have this data, all the guesswork is gone. You're not just going to the gym to get stronger or hitting the track to get faster in some general sense. You now know exactly what your specific limitation is, and you can focus all your training on fixing that one thing.
And that really brings us all the way back to where we started. Now that you understand the science, after seeing how all these pieces connect, the question is really simple. Are you just training your strength, or are you actually training your speed?